And hello, everyone. It is Sasha here, the Director of Finance and Marketing for the Freebird Project. Hello, and good morning. Thank you so much for joining us this beautiful Sunday. And right before Halloween, too. Love Halloween. Today, we are joined by Natasha Koo. I'll let her introduce herself in just a quick moment. However, we also do have Patricia lurking around in the background. So she's here saying hi, and mutually we'll keep track and make sure that any of your questions get out as well. So I will be watching the YouTube channel in case you have any questions. Now, of course, this is all for the Free to Fly conference sponsored by the Freebirds, and it's to help raise awareness for domestic violence survivors, and of course for our amazing fashion line, which I will show you a little bit more of at the end. Now, in the meantime, Natasha, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hello, everybody. My name is Natasha. And right now I'm in Zurich, and I'm so happy to join you and pretty much join this movement of ladies all over the world as we pretty much, step into ourselves and our power and feel enough and safe again. So that's why I'm here. I'm the founder of Feminine Space, and I can't wait to talk all about all the things that matter.
Oh, that's absolutely fantastic. And we are really, really excited to have you here. Now, what inspired you to create Feminine Space, the women's online community for self-love?
It's a long, long story, but I'll see if I can cut it down to a shorter version. I do have a background as a healer and as a coach, so doing a lot of in-person work last year. But I really opened up myself to this topic of the feminine and sisterhood when I was reading a book called The Wild Feminine. And although I felt like I knew what was going on in my body and energetically, I thought I understood most of it, I realized as I was reading through this book and doing all the different exercises to connect myself back to the feminine, I realized that I was neglecting the womanhood in me. And as the exercises went on, and some of it had to do with, pelvic care, it became such a sensitive topic for me and such a special place that I never really allow myself to go to and fully heal and fully feel what do I hold there and what parts of myself do not perhaps fully accept or fully embrace. So that kind of started this whole journey of looking into healing and coaching and sisterhood from this personal angle of mine. So that slowly grew as I want to expand my impact to as many people as possible and as deeply as I can. So I switched my work from in-person to online so that I can reach a lot of people, and also to create an online community so women know that whatever you're going through, we are all going through the same things. So I also work in smaller groups, one-on-one, and also smaller, just for women-only sisterhood coaching programs. So I'm all for, through also my own journey, living from a place where I trust myself, I can listen to my intuition, and I know that I am enough no matter what. So this is kind of where I'm coming from, and also what I'm spreading into the world and to women all over the world.
Wow, that's absolutely fantastic. And it sounds like you put a lot of work into this. Now, Natasha, why would you say it's so important that as women we find these supportive groups? So what's the impact that it would have on our own personal beings?
Yeah, that's a great question because there's so much magic to it. And I really want to share and explain a little bit of what happens when women come together and support one another, kind of like what you're creating here in this conference, right? So when I first started Feminine Space, I interviewed more than 40 women, so almost around 50 women. And I asked them all sorts of questions like, what does the feminine mean to you? And what would you want for yourself? And at some point, I realized that between women, there's actually quite a bit of judgment. Or when you say, or you mention an event that's all women only, there's this connotation of, oh, it's going to be catty, it's going to be competitive, it's going to be a bit nasty. And I was thinking, why? Because it could be really so powerful. So as I kind of explored this, I realized that, especially in different niches also between women. So for example, with the mothers I talked to, they really felt discouraged when they went to mommy groups because the working mom was judging the stay-home mom, the stay-home mom was judging the working mom. So then from this perspective, I was like, okay, let me tap into the resource of when women come together and what that's like. And how can we grow together and actually support one another as opposed to bringing each other down or seeing each other as competition and coming from this, I guess, perspective that there's not enough for everyone. So as I started these coaching groups, and I love them so, so much, is that no matter the culture, because there's women from India, there's women in Ireland, and I'm in here in Switzerland, all these cultures and of different ages, when we come together and we share what we're going through, say our struggles or just what's going on right now in our life that's relevant, that we may want a little bit of guidance or help with, when we start sharing these stories one by one, it becomes this beautiful mirror. So imagine yourself in like a little glass or crystal castle where when sister shares one story, one thing that she's going through, it seems to bounce off of everyone else, whether it's something they're going through right now or it's something they've already resolved in the past. So when you really have this held, supportive, and loving and trusting sisterhood in place, then what happens is there's this magic and you begin to reflect back at each other the answers and the solutions and the wisdom you already have within you. So it's not as if, we're bringing in these methods or just tactics which will, solve this and resolve that. It's really tuning in and trusting and sharing on such a connected level that the answers already start to bubble up and things get much more clear, and you just walk away from feeling so supported, and plus the clarity and all that you need to know that I can do this and I'm not alone in this. So I think that's kind of in a nutshell what it feels like to at least hold the sisterhood or to be in such a supported space.
Absolutely. And I think that feeling of sisterhood is really important for a lot of us, especially women, and especially in today's day and age. I mean, it's extremely important to find that connection. Now, I do like the fact that you said sisterhood specifically because, I mean, of course, there's support groups out there that are mixed gender. I'm sure the guys have their own version of a guys group as well. But as women, that sisterhood, that close-knit community, I mean, that's been ingrained into us since we were, well, I guess crawling around in caves. So I really like that you've adapted that sisterhood feeling for your own purpose and cause. Now, how would you empower a woman to learn how to take care of themselves? How can we live like we matter?
Really great question, because I think that's really a topic that a lot of us struggle with, isn't it? This sense of, I am enough and that I can be good to myself fully, like with unconditional love. I know that I definitely struggle with that. And first of all, a lot of it does have to come from the belief that we kind of grew up with. So whether it's others' ideas that stuck or a certain type of functioning that we had to adopt in order to survive at a certain point in our life. But to a degree, when we grow up or when we adopt another type of lifestyle and we're no longer a child and we're no longer depending on an adult to provide us our livelihood, sometimes we still have these behaviors and patterns stuck within us, like emotionally, in our actions or habits, and maybe also energetically within our bodies, whatever muscle tension is still held from a young age. But what I like to call it is really a self-love muscle, because we can't just think about what we should do or what it should look like to love ourselves. We really gotta just take action and feel like in every single moment, it's an opportunity to rather make ourselves matter by saying what we want, expressing what it is that we're feeling, and actually taking that step to be like, it's okay, I can do this, I allow myself to do this. That's a key, because sometimes we wait for the permission from others to say, oh, take a day off, or, relax a bit or slow down a bit, we wait for other people's permission to tell us that it's all right, or now it's time to be good to yourself. So I encourage you to really allow yourself now and kind of live in each moment feeling like each moment is for me and how can I come from this place. And one other thing that kind of want to mention, which answers your question so perfectly, is kind of this trap sometimes we're in, thinking that I must do something to feel worthy, or I must give or do something in order to have something in return, or to feel like I do matter or I'm of value. So that's one of the reasons why I started this kind of show and tell format every Thursday in my Facebook group. And the idea is to just be yourself. I don't even question, I don't even censor what the women want to share, but we celebrate a sister once a week on Thursdays. And she just goes, she shares her story, she shares her learnings, she shares whatever she feels like in that moment. And it's not a PowerPoint presentation, or it's not like, oh, come here and show me what you can do for work, which is, so valuable. It's really just be yourself. And in this environment, we shower her with love, and usually it's really touching, it's really deep. It's really profound, right? Because we connect on this level. But that's it. That's just being yourself. And just by being that, you are showered with love. So that's why I created that, to kind of reinforce that, no, we don't need to do or give or try or be in order to receive love. You can just be yourself, and that's already enough.
Oh, what a fantastic answer. And I 100% fully agree with you. In fact, due to our last little hiccup where we couldn't get you on air, that's one of the things that I talked about in my session, was the shoulds, and how we feel that we should do this and we should do that. And well, we shouldn't. So I think it's an excellent point that you just tied that into, and something that most of us freebirds and most survivors do learn, that those shoulds and musts and have tos can be very crippling. So it's a really unique take on how to get around that point. Now, tell me about intuition and how our intuition can help to keep us safe.
Really great question. Well, the majority of my work does come from intuition. It's the funniest thing, because on Friday evening, I was leading something locally here, just a little circle, and it's just a 1-hour workshop to kind of de-stress and let go of whatever we may be holding on that just feels heavy. And at the end of the evening, as I told them about my work and how you can work with me, one-on-one or in small groups, they were like, so how does that work? Or what method do you use? And I was telling them, to be honest, yes, I do have a lot of tools in my toolbox, but it's not in the tactics. It's not in the how-to or the skill that you're missing, or this magic pill I'm going to give you. Actually, in every moment, in the calls or that evening, through the exercises we did, breathing and stretching and everything else, I said, I just followed what felt right. I didn't plan this, and I allowed what I already know to guide me in that moment. And I guess why intuition is such a strong part of not only my work but my life is because it has guided me to where I am now. And it's a guiding force behind what I do with my clients, and also every day. And to be honest, my intuition is so strong to the point that sometimes if I ignore it, it becomes annoying. It'll just keep knocking and keep telling me and repeating the same thing again and again and again. But I guess the value, if you're not so convinced or you're new to intuition, is our compass. That's what I kind of want to call it, this inner knowing. So even if you're lost, or you're going the wrong way, or you're steering away from the path that feels right for you, you always have this little compass within you. And all we need to do is to be still enough to look and to feel and be like, I'm just off course, that's it. And I can always, like a boat, like a captain, you can always come back to the direction that feels better for you. And so intuition is a superpower, I would like to say, that we all have. So I invite you to let that grow in your life, and to trust those gut feelings, because they are coming up, and you probably have felt them or heard them before, but allow yourself to really trust in it and see where that takes you in your life, and how many new doors would open from that.
Oh, fantastic. And I love that quote. Intuition is a superpower that we all have. Now, this actually leads me to another question because I'm notorious for perhaps not being in touch with my intuition. And I believe that there's a lot of survivors out there that might be experiencing this. What can we do to learn how to get in touch with that intuition?
I want to dive into a topic that might be quite special to many of us. And that actually is to get in touch with our body, and more importantly, to get in touch with our pelvic area and our womb wisdom. And why I say that is, for example, if we've been through something that's traumatizing or just even just something we did not enjoy, let's say, we like to escape if at that moment we cannot physically get ourselves out of that situation. So some forms of escape, maybe just the quickest one is to just go into the head, go into the thoughts and imagine you're somewhere else, or get very, very caught up in what's going on mentally. And have a departure away from the body as if you're not there and you're not home as this experience is happening. So what I like to do is to always reconnect my clients back to their bodies, because the body is a part of this intuition or this whole wisdom. It's constantly talking to us. It's constantly telling us, am I tense? Is my breathing shallow? What's going on, right? So intuition in some ways is having enough awareness or slowing down and allowing ourselves to feel, not only in the body, but also any internal signs or voices that are guiding us. So the first step, I guess, is to come to the breath or come to the body. The breath is always there, so that's a nice guiding principle to always go to, because it's always there as long as you're living. And then the next thing is the breath will take you to the body, and which then will ground you and make you realize, oh, am I tense? Does that mean, I don't want to be here? I don't want to be speaking to this person, or this is not right for me right now. And then another thing is to allow yourself, if it feels right for you now, or maybe save this for later, when it's a good time, is to bring your awareness, your attention to your hip area and to your pelvic space. And just notice if you're there, or if that's a part of you that you're avoiding to be in, or maybe it has certain connotations of shame or neglect, whatever it may be. And allow yourself to feel what's there, and then just exhale, breathe it out. Because I honestly feel that we're such amazing beings. We know so much. We're really powerful. But what we do, which disconnects us from the intuition or whatever superpowers we have, is actually when we disconnect ourselves from our body, or when we have certain associations mentally to a part of ourselves, which then we don't accept. So imagine if we are able to release all these mental blocks or even physical barriers, all these things, then it's just like a river that we have undammed and it's flowing again. So everything that you have, which I'm talking about, it's all there. It's a matter of, can we lift those mental barriers? Can we lift these inner conflicts away and let them go, so that it starts to flow again and it becomes louder, and so loud that we can hear it clearly.
And I think that's an absolutely amazing way to look at it as well. And thank you for really talking to me about that. I mean, I found a lot of value in it. Now, I was kind of hoping, because we were talking about breathing, and that's definitely one of those focal points for mindfulness, which is very, very big right now. And breathing connects with meditation, connects with finding that intuition. Now, given the fact that we have a little bit of time, I was hoping that you'd be willing to guide us through a guided meditation to connect with that feminine power and intuition.
Okay, awesome. So I can definitely do that. So I'm just gonna kind of feel into, okay, what should the intention be? Or let's find like a good purpose for this meditation, so that when we share it, people are drawn to it and people know, okay, this is exactly what I need in this moment. So let's do a guided meditation to, how about, feel safe in our body, and also to get in touch with like pretty much our feminine power or feminine intuitive power. Does that sound good? All right, I'm just gonna write it down so I know exactly what I'm doing. Feeling safe in the body, and also getting in touch with our feminine and intuitive power, which is already there. Cool. All right, so let's see. All right, so make sure you're sitting somewhere where hopefully you won't be interrupted, because that's not always nice to be like, oh, gotta wake up now. All right, and if you want to close your eyes, you can do whatever you want, and just make sure that you're feeling comfy and you can stay here for a few minutes, right? So the first thing we're gonna do is just like take in a deep breath and like roll your shoulders up and maybe behind, and just like let that shoulder go, like let that drop. So maybe one more time, inhale up, and then just exhale, drop that shoulder down. All right. And then from here, let's just feel our feet. So if you're laying down or if you're sitting, just feel how there's contact against the floor and how we're supported. So everything that we're going through, we're not alone in this. We are supported by Mother Earth. Yep. And from there, you can allow the breath to just flow in really deeply, long, and filling our bodies with that wonderful breath, wonderful energy. And from here, let's just do a little bit of an awareness exercise. So allow yourself to feel what's going on in the body today. So it's like a little meet and greet. How is my body doing? And is there any particular spot or places that's calling out to me and saying, hey, over here, pay attention to me, or I need a little love, right? So just breathe, allow the breath to be long, and just kind of scan. If you want to, you can start from the feet. Just kind of slowly go, okay, on my toes, my feet, the top of my feet, the bottom, the ankles, the shin, calves, my knees, and just slowly drifting up and up, going through your body, making sure to feel every single sensation while knowing that you're safe, you're held here in this moment, and that all you're doing is just getting to know what's here. So another part of it is also getting to know who's here for you. So all of this, the whole body that is here is for you and supporting you and here for you. And so from here, just notice, okay, is there a bit of tension there? Does it feel cooler here or warmer there? Just give it a little bit of time and begin to have this two-way dialogue between your body and yourself. So feel as if, we're not imposing on anything, and we're just getting to know what's here and starting to listen to our body as it tells us, okay, I want to have a looser or more relaxed back, or maybe the shoulders are saying, hey, I want it to be lighter, or I don't want so much stress or heaviness on the shoulders. Then be like, okay, got your message. So just keep going until you slowly scan to the top of your head, noticing the special points. So maybe the eyebrows, are they like often carrying some weight for you? Or maybe your fingertips or your fingers, maybe they are wishing to hold onto things and they're telling you, no, I don't need to do that. So just take a moment to have this conversation and just to notice what is here. Not only what is here supporting me, but also what messages, what conversation is my body constantly trying to tell me, trying to let me know, and guiding and helping me with. So from here, know that, every single part is warm, it's nice, it's comfy. Being in our bodies is actually a wonderful feeling and nothing we have to hide from. Actually, it's a beautiful sensation and state we can actually sink into and be like, oh, I have a home, thank God. All right. And then from here, we're going to guide our energy or our attention towards the hips. If you want, you can place your hands on either side of the hips, pretty much where Your legs are bent as you're sitting, pretty much that crease, and just rest your pinkies there and have your whole hand flat against your lower tummy. And from here, just breathe a deep breath in and notice, okay, how does it feel? If I could kind of sense beyond my hands and into the center of myself, is it cool? Is it full? Is it empty? Is it bright? What would it look like? This hip, this pelvic, this womb space that I have here. So it's as if you're going to a certain room within your body and going, is it furnished? Is it nice? Is it dusty? Has anybody been in here? What does it look like? So bring your attention here and fill it with breath too, and really allow yourself to connect to this space and know that it's really no different than your fingers, your face, your feet. It's just another part of you. So allow ourselves gently to come into this place. Breathe. Okay, and just notice any sensations and any feelings of hot or cold, empty or full. And from here, if you notice any imbalance or just any differences between the two sides, left or right, or front and back, we're going to breathe deeply in. And then exhale, we let go and feel like we're just kind of dusting away or blowing the dusty air, wind from our pelvic space and bowl and out. So we're doing a little bit of a spring cleaning here. So inhale. And then exhale, we gently release whatever we're holding in the hips, in the pelvic space. And one more time. And then we let it go again. And this time, imagine and feel into this area again and notice, okay, is it shinier? Does it feel nicer? Is there any else that it needs at this moment? So we'll just hold there. And this time, we're going to bring our attention and awareness to our hands. So feel as if you're holding yourself there. So feel as if you're holding this sacred space within you. And this hand, these hands you have, are really honoring this space, really holding this space for you, acknowledging the wisdom and the creativity and immense energy that is there for you. So we'll take a deep breath in and just feel from our hands how it's getting warm from our hands to our lower belly as we get in touch with our womanhood, knowing that we're safe here, we're enough, and this is perfect as it is. And from here, let us have a little bit of stillness. Once we've done our little exhales through the pelvic area, right, to let go of what no longer we wish to hold, now let us listen and let any messages, any guidance, any help which our body has to offer to us, let us give it this moment so it can speak to us, it can be known, and that it can arise and be clear both in our mind, in our heart, in our root. So just breathe quite normally with your awareness in this space and allow whatever message, whatever help, whatever guidance and intuitive wisdom to come. So maybe it's an image, maybe it's a vision, maybe they're words, maybe it's just a feeling, or maybe it's that decision you need to make and now it's clear. Whatever it may be, whatever form it comes, allow it to come. And if it's not here now, then give it space in the next few moments, in the next day or week or months. Allow this space for it to always be able to connect back to you. So from here, let's thank our body. Let's thank our womanhood for being here, for supporting us, and for helping us be who we are today. And then from here, we'll let the hands go and just take one more deep breath in, shoulders up. Roll them back, exhale, and then you can come back. Yay! Yay!
Oh, that was just so refreshing. And now I also am fully aware that I'm hungry. So,
Oh.
but I think it's a really good exercise to get grounded and to get in touch. Like I said, I definitely feel parts of my body that I might not have noticed otherwise. So thank you so much for taking me and our audience through that guided meditation. It's fantastic. All right. Now, let's look a little bit at self-love as well, because I mean, really, that's the whole point of this, is to find that sisterhood and create your own self-love. Now, what would you say are some practical self-love tips for the audience, ways to increase their ability to feel that self-love?
So I mentioned a few things already, so we can build on it a little bit and to kind of find out even more practical ways for you to implement that in everyday life. So one of the things I said or mentioned before was allowance. So sometimes we wait for others to give us that permission. So today, see if you can give yourself something. So that could mean saying no when you would usually say yes, or maybe that's allowing yourself to ask for help when you usually would do it all by yourself, or maybe it's allowance to slow down or to relax a little bit, or maybe it's allowing yourself to give yourself that little bit of time. Maybe it's just 10 minutes, 15 minutes to start that project you knew you always wanted to, but always thought, it's not that important, but no, it is. So today, allow something in to your life, which maybe before yesterday or before this video you never thought was okay. So give yourself that permission and take one little step, whatever that may be. Maybe it's in your social life, maybe it's for your career, maybe it's personally, maybe it's eating something really healthy and enjoying it and, really taking that time for yourself, whatever it looks like for you, because it's going to be different for every single one of us, but you know what it is. I'm sure the meditation helped a little bit to get you a bit closer to feeling like, aha, that's it. It's not big, but it's enough. And start doing that today and see if tomorrow maybe you can give that another try and let that grow and grow and grow to the point where you really feel the impact of self-love and how it's not a selfish thing. And you begin to notice the positive impacts on your loved ones, on your work, right? Because it starts to extend out. So the moment we start to matter to ourselves, those things that matter, those people who matter to us, they grow too from our love. So start with one thing. It's just one. And then go from there and just allow and allow and allow. And if those critical voices come, if they say, oh, you shouldn't be doing this or you should be doing that instead, well, still allow yourself to do that one thing.
Great. So one of the best tips is that allowance piece. You need to allow yourself to do something for yourself. Now, of course, I'm going to tie this back into domestic violence and abuse survivors and those of us, or those out there that may still be in that situation. Finding the time or the courage to do something for yourself can also be a struggle. Do you have any tips for the viewing audience as to how to make sure that you can get that time and that space no matter what?
You see, sometimes we feel like we can only, do something for ourselves when it's the right environment. Or sometimes we wait for that perfect moment, don't we? We say to ourselves, oh, it needs to be right, the condition needs to be right, or I need to be in the right place, or the time needs to be right. But that kind of reminds me of what I mentioned I think quite at the beginning of this call, is that it's in every moment. So even though it might not be, for example, a specific time you can give yourself if you're really so busy and it's just not possible, maybe don't look at it as I'm creating time for myself. Look into all the different moments that you're living and see if you can live for yourself a bit more in each moment. May that be really listening in and saying, oh, I'm going to say and I'm going to go for what it is that I need and want right now, as opposed to what I always do for everyone else, or, choosing a certain activity or certain something for those around you. Maybe come from an intention of, I matter as much as others or those around me. And can I, maybe in just this moment, come from a place or act from a place where I do matter, where I'm treating myself equally, if not, more importantly than others. So it doesn't really have to do with, injecting or creating more time or more effort into having a more self-fulfilling or self-loving life. It actually has to do with those little moments throughout the day, and whether we're mindful enough to come from this place and to listen to our intuition in those moments, because they add up. And if we're able to hold on to this mindfulness and awareness throughout the day as much as we can, I mean, that's the best we can do, right? The best we can, then that will add up, and that does make a difference. So it doesn't actually have very much to do with environment and how we can control it or fix it or change it on the outside, but sometimes that internal intention is enough to trigger something and to start something within ourselves.
Beautifully said. And I have to agree. I really think that we have to be able to say to ourselves, I do matter just as much as anybody else. And I know that for survivors, for victims, that's a really, really hard thing to do. So one step at a time is definitely a great way to approach it. Now, I kind of want to all tie this back in because the whole reason you're here is because you have the feminine space. That's what you do. So why don't you tell our viewing audience how they can get in touch with you, where they can find you, and some of the different kinds of things that they can expect from your group.
So you can find me at femininetribe.com if you're like a Facebook type of girl. So that's where I hang out, and that's where I have more than 200 women in the group right now, where we support one another. And that's also where those Thursday show and tells happen. So Afni, she's actually going to be coming on next Thursday. So if you want to celebrate another sister and see what is it like, when a group of women really are there for one another, and what is it like maybe for you to just show up and be yourself and be loved, then just check out femininetribe.com. It's a closed group, so just request access and I'll get you in, and it's just a lovely space, and you can always tag me there if you need anything. And if you want more resources on what I do, I have a podcast, and I also of course work one-on-one and in very small groups in sisterhoods, because I know that sometimes our journeys feel like quite isolated or alone, like we're the only ones going through this, but really we're not. And everything we mentioned today, Sasha, I mean, you relate to it, I relate to it, those watching probably do too. So we're really not in this alone, and the support is there. Whatever you're going through, if you're recovering or you just want to feel more powerful in your life, if you want to ignite something, then just check out femininespace.com, because that's what I do. I really want to support you. And like I said, I believe in our superpowers. I believe that we have everything we need. So I'm not here to change anyone or to say, I'll be version 2 of yourself. No, that's not really it. It's to accept ourselves where we are now, feel into, where am I struggling? Where could I, let something go or stop resisting? Where can things be less hard? And we do that together in this really loving and connected way. So just check out femininespace.com, and you can always check out the podcast link or the Work With Me page. It's all there. So I'm on the internet.
Fantastic. So for all of you wonderful viewers out there watching now or watching our replay, you can go to femininetribe.com, check it out, follow it up. And you know what? I think it's really commendable what you're doing. And I really do support that sisterhood feel. So thank you very much. Now, I'm kind of out of my guided questions here. So I'm wondering, is there anything else that you'd like to add for our viewing audience as a result of our talks today?
Oh, actually, this is going to be amazing, because it ties in with self-love, and like, what if I don't know what to do? That one thing you mentioned. So I said, okay, do one thing for yourself. What if you're like, I have a blank mind right now. I don't even know where to start. Actually, that's a great question, because you can just head over to femininespace.com, and right on the header at the very top, or also on the bottom, just enter in your name and your email and start the 21-day self-love journey, because I list out for you. It's completely free. I list out for you from day 1 to day 21 exactly what to do. And they're so short. They're less than 15 minutes a day. But it's like every single day help you walk through parts of yourself and notice, okay, how much do I care about myself right now? And the second step, maybe I ask for help, or maybe I rest for a day. So I go through really easy and quick exercises, and you can always share your progress within the Facebook group. So that's a fun thing, because you're never alone in this. And so that's what you can get. It's free. It's 21 days, because we want this to become a habit. We don't want this to be, oh, I'll watch this video once and let it drop away, right? Let's integrate this into our life, because it can become, something that we're living as a real lifestyle, and it's not just, something we're trying to, stuff onto our heads starting right now. So give that a try, because I know that guidance can be really helpful if this is something new, if this is something different. So I really recommend the 21-day self-love challenge.
Fantastic. And it does tie into what we were talking with Maureen and Nancy about yesterday. I mean, this stuff isn't built in a day. I mean, you know that, I know that, and I'm sure a lot of our viewing audience does know that. But to recap, that's why we have such great programs like Natasha's been able to offer us, so that you're doing that little bit every single day. Is that habit building. It's rewiring your brain, essentially. Mm-hmm. That's what a habit is. So it does take time. Now, statistically, they say that it takes about 30 days to form a complete habit. So this 21-day self journey is an amazing way to kick yourself off. And I think that's absolutely fantastic. So make sure to check that out. Natasha, any other final words you want to add before we do our little sign off here?
Well, I just gotta say that whatever you want to do, if you can even think of it, you can do it. So surround yourself with people who support you, who believe in you too, and get on it. Because if you can have the thought, you are worthy and you are enough to execute it and to make it happen. So I guess that's why we're doing this, isn't it, Sasha? So I just want to bring it all back in and be like, you can, you really can.
What a fantastic message. And guys, I'm gonna repeat that. You can. One way or the other, you can. All of our free birds actually came from situations of domestic abuse. We are all survivors, and so we're firsthand proof that you can. And so please make the connections, reach out to us. We do also have a secret group for survivors or soon-to-be survivors, and you can connect with Carol Renee Waters or with any one of us, and we can guide you into that as well. So just keep in mind that you can, and you've got all these amazing resources. So I just want to say, for my part and for our silent partner here, Patricia, we are so thankful that you could take the time to do this with us today, and thank you for being willing to reschedule after my kerfuffle. And again, guys, this has all been sponsored by the Freebird Project. So you can find our fashions online at thefreebirdprojectshop.com. Speaking of which, of course, I'm wearing one. I'll stand up and just kind of do a little, I mean, I can't do much because I got such small spaces, but absolutely adorable. Probably one of my favorite pieces, and I'm so comfy in this. So, I mean, I'm sure you've heard me say that before, but thefreebirdprojectshop.com, check it out. 10% of what we do with all of our sales is going to helping with domestic abuse survivors and soon-to-be survivors. Again, connect with us, connect with Natasha, make those connections, find your sisterhood, and let's all get in together. So thank you for joining us out there. And in the future, you can catch all of our other amazing upcoming seminars, as well as anything we've had in the past. It'll be on thefreebirdproject.org. I'm Sasha with the Freebirds. This was Natasha and Patricia, the silent one. And thank you so much for joining us today. Have a great day, everybody.